Hey everybody, I'm Cece Trubiak and welcome to Cece's Vinyl Closet. Okay, so here we are everybody. It has been a long time coming, this project of mine, Cece's Vinyl Closet. And today is the day that it all begins. So originally, I set about on a mission. I was hell-bound and determined to collect as many of the vinyl records of my favorite 7 Honky Tonk Angels as I could. And let me tell you, I was not disappointed. Not only after this mission am I a little bit broke, I'm extremely satisfied and excited at the beautiful music that I have discovered, and I can't wait to share it with you starting now. So, in doing all of this research, I discovered so much. Not only did I discover some beautiful things about the 7 Honky Tonk Angels, but the musicianship behind it, the producers, the writers, there's so many beautiful songwriters and players and genres, sub-genres of country music that blew my mind open. So this brings me to a key component of Cece's Vinyl Closet, which is the Honky Tonk Angel Bible. So this is volume 1, there's a volume 2, I've got it right here. They're big, they're thick, they're colorful, and I did them one part for me and one part for you guys. Basically, I call it my Bible because it's rich in history and details, not only about the entertainers, the 7 Honky Tonk Angels at hand, but also it contains a lot of rich history about the information behind the albums. I did this as a way to take key components of this rich history, file it under something colorful that I could share with you guys to bring you into the landscape, the colorful, beautiful, technicolor landscape of these Honky Tonk Angels. And I consider it a living document of sorts because I am continually adding to it. There is just an ongoing amount of history that I'm learning about. So each time I discover something relatively exciting or new or interesting to me, I file it under this Bible, and now I'm ready to share these things with you. So without any further ado, let's get into chapter 1 of the Honky Tonk Angel Bible, which focuses on our very first Honky Tonk Angel, Miss Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn, otherwise known as the Queen of Country Music, was born Loretta Webb in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, 1932. The self-penned coal miner's daughter is known to be the most awarded female country recording artist, and was the first female to win the American Country Music Artist of the Decade Award in 1972. Loretta has recorded up to 60 studio albums beginning in 1963 and leading all the way up to 2018. Loretta is generally classified as a country artist, but through my education, I discovered a plethora of subgenres within country music that highlight Loretta's diverse range stylistically. For example, Chapter 1. The Nashville sound and gospel era. This takes us all the way back to the very early beginnings of Loretta's recording career, specifically in the development of what is known to be the Nashville sound. This is also specifically where we're looking at the first 17 albums recorded between 1963 and 1969. That's mind-blowing to me. I mean, that's a ton of output for any artist. I mean, in my 10 years of being an independent artist, I've released 3 independent albums. I cannot imagine what it took artistically to create 17 albums in 6 years. I think that's just a testament to how hardworking she was, and especially when you consider the times in a male-dominated industry of music and radio, Loretta Lynn was a force. So these albums between 63 and 69 are incredible representations of the Nashville sound. I have listened to literally every single one of these 17 records from that period of time. But it's going to be impossible for me to respond to every album detail, every song detail, but that does not take away from the fact that all of it is beautiful and worth hearing. But that's one of the main things I want to get across to you guys, is this music is worth going out, seeking out, downloading on from Spotify if you can. I don't know. I'm lucky I've got these records because this is how I'm going to appreciate them now. There's a lot of hits. The hits I'm going to touch on, but this was even more so an opportunity for me to look into the rarities, the B-sides, the tracks that are not on the greatest hit compilations. And I think it's just time to take these old gems out and dust them off and give them a listen. So it only seems appropriate to kick off with Loretta Lynn's debut album, Loretta Lynn Sings from 1963, produced by Mr. Owen Bradley on Decca Records. At this time, Loretta Lynn was married to Oliver Doolittle and had several little ones, and she was working really hard to establish herself in the Nashville music scene. She had already previously released a single called Honky Tonk Girl in 1960, and she was really establishing herself within the Nashville scene. So Mr. Owen Bradley and Loretta Lynn would prove to be a formidable partnership, as they soon discovered that this American musician and record producer is considered one of the architects of the 1950s and 1960s Nashville sound in country music and rockabilly. Nashville sound, as defined on Wikipedia, let me just take a look-see here. I wanted to learn about genres, so I did want to see, well, what exactly is rockabilly and Nashville sound? So Nashville sound, as defined on Wiki, originated during the mid-1950s as a subgenre of American country music, replacing the chart dominance of the rough honky-tonk music, which was most popular in the 1940s and 1950s, with smooth strings and choruses, sophisticated background vocal, and smooth tempos associated with traditional pop. Okay, so Owen Bradley produced over 45 of Loretta Lynn's albums, and I just want to comment on how much I admire that. Having a collaborative partnership is a gift, and to have a good one at that, and one that's magical, is a rarity. And I've listened to Loretta Lynn since I was a kid. I had those greatest hits CDs, and I appreciated her back then, but I appreciate her even more now that I understand that she was a part of building this Nashville scene, and she had someone like Owen Bradley who could see her talent, could collaborate with it, and produce clearly some of the most amazing music in the history of music. Loretta Lynn Sings was released in 1963. 4 singles were released, including the song Success, which would become her first top 10 hit on the country charts, her first success. That song I do remember on her greatest hits, and I love to sing and play that one myself. I actually always thought Success was written by Loretta Lynn, but I found out that it was written by Johnny Mullins, and I'm going to play a little bit of that song for you right now.
We used to go out walking hand in hand. You told me of the big things you had planned. It wasn't long till all your dreams came true. Success put me in second place with you. You have no time to love me anymore, since fame and fortune knocked upon our door. Now I spend all my evenings all alone. Success has made a failure of our home.
Something that I thought was worth noting about this debut album is that 2 of the songs, and there's 12 songs in total, 2 of the songs were written by Loretta Lynn herself, who we all know, if we know Loretta Lynn the way we should, is that she's a formidable songwriter and had a lot of hits to her names. And the song that really stood out for me most was a song called Act Naturally. Let me just play a little smidgen of it.
They're gonna put me in the movie. They're gonna make a big star out of me. They'll make
Okay, something I forgot and I really want to mention about Act Naturally. I've got a little note written here. It was written by Johnny Russell and brought to #1 on the country chart by Buck Owens and the Buckaroos. I think it's a kick-ass song. I'm happy to have it on my playlist. I also want to make sure I stress and kind of emphasize that this playlist that I'm developing, I hope is something that you guys enjoy. I kind of created it thinking if I was on the YouTube world and I was looking up music in the search engine, I would love to fall upon someone who could have all these dusty gems in one place for me to listen to. And that's what I hope I can give to any true Loretta Lynn fan or fan of any one of these other Honky Tonk Angels. They're not the hits, as I said. They're just songs that I dig and I think are worth remembering and highlighting. Okay, so moving along next. Get myself in place here. The Jordanaires. Who has heard of the Jordanaires? I have loved the Jordanaires since I was a kid, but I did not know that that's who they were and that they had the extraordinary career that they had. I'm really excited about these guys. The Jordanaires were an American vocal quartet. They were active from 1948 to 2013. They created sacred and secular music, and most of all, they played on at least 33 of Loretta Lynn's albums, beginning on her breakthrough album, Loretta Lynn Sings, in 1963, to 1982's Making Love from a Memory. Their voices can be heard on so many artists, including notably Elvis Presley. When I would daydream of being in a recording studio or being on stage, it would certainly be to have like the power of a group of people like the Jordanaires. I love you, Jordanaires. Thank you for all of the years of music that you've given. For the longest time, I thought the only person Loretta Lynn ever did a duet with was Conway Twitty. I had no idea about this fellow named Ernest Tubb. By the way, for my Bible, I decided to create little paper dolls. So I've got one for Ernest Tubb and one for Loretta. You're going to see a lot of paper doll art. Now that I've told you that it's there, just get used to it and enjoy it. And let's get into Ernest Tubb because I want to make sure I take a moment to really honor him. Within those 17 records, 3 of them are recorded with Ernest Tubb. Let me go in proper order. Mr. and Mrs. Used to Be, Singin' Again, and If We Put Our Heads Together. Loretta and him had a very, they had that vibe going on. They were a cheeky husband and wife, cheating partners, friends. They had a beautiful chemistry. His voice is different than Conway's, and he has a unique voice, and I'd say there's some really cool songs off of these albums. So I chose 3 songs that you'll see on the playlist, but let me play a little snippet of one here that I do really like.
Won't you come home and talk to a stranger?
I'm listening, honey.
Yeah, you might even make yourself a friend.
Oh, honey, I could use a good friend.
Well, won't you come home and talk to a stranger?
You don't have to hold my hair.
It's the only place in days you haven't been.
I'm ready, honey. I'm ready.
It's a cool vibe. You should check out the Ernest Tubb and Loretta Lynn stuff. It's really cool. It's a different vibe than your average Conway Twitty or Loretta and Porter, but that's what makes it beautiful, and we should remember that this existed. Loretta Lynn and Ernest Tubb, beautiful music. In addition to the Nashville sound that Loretta was a part of developing in the 60s, I also discovered she had some success with gospel music and has released several gospel records, notably during the years 1963 and 1969. So for the purposes of understanding the genres, as I wanted to learn more about, I grabbed the definition of gospel from Wikipedia. Gospel music is a genre of Christian music. The creation, performance, significance, and even the definition of gospel music varies according to culture and social context. Okay. Gospel music usually has dominant vocals with Christian lyrics and can be traced to the early 17th century. So I guess right off the top what I would want to say is that I'm not a religious person, but you don't have to be a religious person to appreciate gospel music or even sing or perform it, as I'm discovering. I love listening to the gospel music on Loretta's albums, and I've even been learning how to play, if you want, my own guitar. Maybe even a lot of us who aren't, religious or subscribe to Christianity would be familiar with some of these songs. There Will Be Peace in the Valley for me. That's a beautiful song. I chose that song to go on my playlist because when I listened to it, however many months ago when I started on this, man, it was just so comforting. I want to play a little bit of a song for you guys today, if you will. It was a song that just stood out for me immediately, and I'll just play a snippet of it for you guys. And what I will do is, if you guys like this, I could maybe play the full song on my Honky Tonk Angel Session playlist.
There's a land beyond the river that we call the sweet forever, and we only reach that shore by faith, you see. Yes, I want to see my Jesus, shake his hand and hear him greet us when they ring those golden bells for you and me. Don't you hear the bells ringing? Can't you hear the angels singing? It's a glory, hallelujah, jubilee.
Another thing I want to touch upon with the gospel section, the gospel portion of things, is that Loretta has also had some success in writing gospel music. A song that I really want to highlight to you now, it is familiar to me when I heard it on Hymns from one of her more recent albums. She does a song that maybe you other fans already know is Everybody Wants to Go to Heaven.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Check out the gospel music of Loretta. For you other Loretta Lynn gospel fans, I'm with you. Loretta Lynn was extremely successful in those early formative years, 1963 to 1969. So if the sheer number of albums isn't indication enough, on top of it, she was touring like crazy, and she had 3 of those albums in that period go to #1. So I want to take note of that. The first of the albums that really did well didn't reach #1, but it hit #2. It's I Like 'Em Country. It peaked at #2 on the Billboard Country charts with a song called Dear Uncle Sam. The next 3 hit #1.
No, you ain't woman enough to take my man. Don't come home a drinking when loving on your mind. And if you don't want to go to Fist City, you better detour around my town.
These are part of why her legacy still lives on. Everybody knows and loves the words to these songs. This is classic country. Loretta, you're a natural gift, and your voice back then on these records is so full, and it's beautiful to me. You swell in that, you have these swells, and then you hit these real lows. And I have the perfect song to kind of highlight, for me, one of the things that makes your voice so beautiful. For any of you, go to my playlist. I have this song chosen for this album. Here's Loretta, I feel like only showing us the tip of what she could do vocally.
How many arms have held you and hated to let you go? How many, I wonder, but I really don't want to know.
If any of you are kind of needing something to look out, seek out some new music or new old music, give songs like this a listen. And I will continue to share more with you, which kind of wraps up the chapter 1. How you guys doing so far? You with me? I'm going to encourage you to stay tuned for the next episode where we'll continue along into the recording career of Loretta Lynn. And it only gets better, folks. So thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, please share, leave a comment, leave a question. Let me know what your favorite songs are, what your favorite albums are, and if there's anything that you're looking forward to me hitting on. Please stay warm, stay safe, stay happy. Take care. Bye.